Hi everybody. Uh, Welcome to this session by NMIMS Global Access. My name is Amit and I am going to be your host today. I'm very excited to host this session today because this is one of our first forays into the undergraduate segment. Uh, NMIMS, as you know, is one of India's leading universities. In fact, we are a Category 1 university, recognized very well for multitudes of our programs, including our management courses, our BCOM programs, our engineering courses, our BBA courses. Uh, Let me very quickly at least give you a context of who we are before I kind of get on with the session. NMIMS Global Access is the distance and online education arm of NMIMS University. Uh, we've been around for a fair number of years. Over the last 7 years, we have had over 70,000 students. Even now, we service about 55,000 students. Currently, most of them in the postgraduate space, but we are one of the largest uh, online universities or edtech universities in the country today. All right. Given that context, I just want to point out that if you have to ask me any questions, you should do that through the question and answer box that is given to you. And please do not use the chat window because that gives you context of, that allows me to manage the session well. All right. So today's topic is succeeding with a BCom or a BBA. I will like to invite our esteemed panelists. Our first panelist is Dr. Shalini Kalia. Dr. Shalini Kalia is our Chief Academic Officer. Welcome, Dr. Shalini. Let me also give you a little background of Dr. Shalini. Dr. Shalini comes with over 15 years of experience in academics. She has co-authored 8 books, which have been published by large publications like Wiley, Pearson, etc. She at NGASCE leads the entire academic team, and the entire program delivery, course curriculum design, etc. Our second panelist is Dr. Deepak Gupta. Dr. Gupta comes from a background of over 9 years of academic experience, and prior to which he has worked with corporates including Hindustan Unilever, one of the world's largest FMCG companies. Dr. Gupta has also authored a book called Management T20. Thank you very much, Dr. Shalini, Dr. Deepak.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you. All right. I'm very excited to have you both here in the panel. The way we would do this is, we would, I will be having a discussion with Dr. Shalini and Dr. Deepak today about, like the topic suggests, succeeding with BCom, succeeding with BCom and BBA. Before I dive into a little bit more about the topic, I thought it's very important to ask you, if you could very quickly give us what a BCom and a BBA does academically, or what does it focus on academically? Because a lot of students are a little confused about what are the kind of, what is a BCom, what is a BBA, and that's a lot of hearsay. I think our audience would like to understand this from an academic point of view, and what it is really.
Okay, I think when the students have this confusion whether I should go for BBA or I should go for BCom, I think it's a very invalid confusion. because these two are totally different courses. It leads you to a different career path. And traditionally, we have already, I mean, when we were growing up, we had only BA, BCOM, and BSc. We never had something called as BBA. BBA emerged during the time when the companies started having a lot of vacancies in the private sector, where the companies, where people were accepting the job towards the private corporates. Earlier, people always looked out for a job in a government sector. Then there emerged a private companies, and people thought that there is a security in private jobs as well if you do your jobs well, and that led to the emergence of BBA. So I think there should not be any comparison between the two programs. The student who are planning to make a career in BCom should have a different kind of a approach towards where he wants to make a career. So usually you will find students aspiring to become a CA, CS, ICWA. These students can usually go for the BCom program because they are good with numbers, they are good with handling finances. So these kind of students are required for the BCom program. If you look at the BBA program, BBA program is required. It creates a fresh graduates in the field of management, and there are various functional areas in management. There's marketing, finance, HR, IT, logistics, supply chain management. So these areas are growing areas, and in each of these functional areas, there's a requirement for a huge management, management trainee, you can say, or management employees, you can say. But there is a different kind of a set of professionalism that is required in BBA. And that is how it is very clearly differentiated between BBA and BCom. So I don't think so there has to be any confusion when it comes to making a career either in BBA or in BCom.
All right. Dr. Deepak, thank you very much for that. Let me just sum this up very quickly for our audiences. So BBA focuses on management skills. It gives you fundamentals of management, like Dr. Deepak mentioned, across different functions. Whereas BCom focuses on accounting and financial skills. So I think wherever your interests lie, that's where you should choose. It's not one over the other. Both are equally good, exciting streams. Um, and students should choose depending on what their area of interest lie. Really. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Deepak, for this. Let me head straight into one of the most important questions that are there in a candidate's mind. Um, you know, prospects, career prospects. What do you do after being after studying a BCom or a BBA? All right. So I want to divide this question between Dr. Shalini and Dr. Deepak into two different parts. One is career prospects in the industry, and the other is career prospects right after graduation from an education perspective. Right. So, Dr. Deepak, if you could give us a little sense of what a BCom does, what a student who pursues BCom and the BBA both do eventually in the corporate world to start with.
Amit, I must say you have very nicely categorized it as career and education. So I think these are two very important things. Before I join any program from any university, my first thing is that whether I can do, whether there is a career in this particular program. And second thing is whether I will be able to continue my education. And education part, we will have Dr. Shalini who will cover, but I will talk about career. As I said, these two courses are totally different. BBA is very different from BCom. So when you complete your BBA, what are the things that you will learn? You will learn about marketing, you will learn about finance, you will learn about HR, you will learn about logistics. So you are going to make a career in these areas in future. You can go for further education after that. But what are the careers? So I can join as immediately after my graduation, I can join as a management trainee in some of these MNCs where I can, I can handle I can be an assistant marketing manager. I can be handling, I can, if I've taken an elective, so various BBA programs offers you various electives. So finance, if you have taken a financial electives, then you can go for, assistant financial manager. Otherwise, you can even BBA is a program which also teaches you logistics. and the production and quality management, where you learn various Japanese techniques called as 5S, Seri, Siton, Siso, Siketsu, Shitsuke, Pokayoke, Endon, Jidoka. So you can also get into the production area if you know, I'm not saying the technical side, but handling the overall production, preparing a factory planner, all of these things can be done by the BBA graduates. So BBA, you can say they get the overall knack of everything, about your marketing, about your finance. This is the place where I know, yes, I want to make a career in marketing in future. I want to make a career in finance. So this is the first step towards your professional management career. And when you talk about BCom, usually you will find most of the students who opt for BCom are the ones who want to do something other than BCom as well, which is, they want to supplement it with CA, they want to supplement it with CS, ICWA, which ma'am will cover in detail. But let me tell you, when students are going to do these courses, they are definitely going to become a CA, CS. That's one of the career. Apart from this, you can get into finance, where you can become a financial manager handling the finances. Like, for example, if a student is interested in trade and commerce, and for example, the companies, the buyer sells the goods to the seller sells the goods to the buyer, and buyer purchases it. But what happens behind it? What are the transactions that is happening? What is the money? How it is affecting my bottom line, which is profitability? That is going to play a very important role here. And this is the reason why you're going to be, if you have a very good knowledge about money, if you're getting into finances, then I think BCom is the career that you will go for. Going forward, I think Shalini ma'am can take over about
Sure.
the education.
I just thought, Dr. Shalini, just before we pass on the question to you from an education perspective, I think it's important for the audience to know that that a BCom or a BBA are one of the most popular education streams in the country today. About 40 lakh plus students study a BCom, pursue a BCom course or program, and about 5.5 to 6 lakh students pursue a BBA. Now, so yeah, these two are one of the top 10 degrees that students pursue in the country today. Right. Dr. Shani, I'll like to pass on the question to you. If you could throw light into education prospects after a BCom,
Sure.
what do students do, and the BBA as well?
Thanks, Amit and Dr. Deepak, for setting the context so well. I think all our participants, first of all, dear participants, hope you all are keeping safe and strong in these tough times. And Dr. Deepak has very nicely described the difference between BBA and BCom. So, and as Amit has also referenced, it is pretty simple. If you are planning to go for something in managerial skills, business management, BBA. Something that number is your calling, finance excites you, BCom. So that way, in a simple way, you can categorize between BBA and BCom. Dr. Deepak has also mentioned about career prospects. Let me now also talk about some education prospects after you have done BBA and BCom, because most of us, it is not the journey that we have to see till BBA, BCom. We need to be very, very clear what is the end goal, what is after BBA or a BCom. So that career path has to be absolutely clear to us to reach that goal. Otherwise, I'm sure we are going to get lost in the track. Okay. Let me now take one by one, BCom and then BBA, and then talk about varied education prospects that open up. Starting with BCom, as we have all understood by now, finance, numbers. So anybody who is good with this, I'm sure finance is something that's on your mind. And there are plethora of opportunities that are lined up once you do BCom. Amazing opportunities that are lined up. Of course, the traditional and a natural progression that comes is Masters in Commerce, which is like MCom. You can also plan MBA in finance. These are very natural progressions, all time tested, tried and tested, and people are doing very, very well. All right, so MCom is one. MBA finance, of course, great. Now, additionally or over and above, you can also go for some professional certifications like CA, CS, CPA. All these certifications also give you a professional edge over others. So they go wonderful. There are many more contemporary programs now which are very exciting, something like MSc Applied Finance, something in wealth management. All these again lead to career opportunities in wealth management, investment banking. So what I'm saying is, once you have done BCom, you have a finance bent of mind. There is no end to opportunities in finance, because broadly you have your bent of mind, and a lot of opportunities will open up there. Now, let me talk a little more about BBA. So when we say BBA, it is business administration. That's a broader word. Okay. So if management excites you, business administration excites you, go for BBA. It opens again a natural progression after BBA is Masters in Business Administration, MBA, right? Now, once you go for MBA, of course, you have varied specializations: marketing, finance, HR, operations, leadership. You can choose any one of them as per your interest and career goals that you have planned. So as I said, one clear natural progression that happens after BBA is MBA. There are many more opportunities, I must say, along with this. So people would like to dwell deeper into digital marketing, something in media and communication. Even of late, we have realized law with management also goes very well. That is very sought after field in the market. So LLB with management background, people do that, and companies, they really appreciate this combination. That was for BBA. Now let me also talk about some common education prospects that are applicable for BBA as well as BCom. Some upcoming fields like business analytics, again, even if you have done BBA or BCom, applicable for both of them. Okay, go for it. Something like data science, go for it. All these are very exciting times, and I think you have a lot of opportunities, so you don't need to get stuck that what after this. Simple thought processes: finance, go into that track, explore more. If you are more into management, again, there are varied options, specializations in that field as well. All right. Amit, I hope I have answered that question. Yeah. Amit, you're on mute.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shalini, for that. I think it gives our audience a good insight into education prospects as well. So I just wanted to point out that for everyone in this webinar, that globally, what has been happening is that as the different countries like China, US, they've started growing older, which essentially means that their workforce is growing older. They have a large population of, or they have large amount of opportunities globally, which are not, the local population that is not able to fulfill. So India is considered one of those countries which can supply high quality talent to the world. India in the next 10 years is going to be considered as the powerhouse of talent for the entire world. And that's a very big ask. And some of you would have noticed that yesterday the government of India announced a new education policy. In fact, the HRD ministry has now been called the education ministry as well. So there are a lot of changes that the government is also doing. Dr. Shani, I want to point a question to you around this. Given what's been happening both globally and in India over the past 3 to 6 months with the pandemic, this entire mantra of work from home, study from home, I think that's become the nature of how we go ahead. I just thought I'd check with you your thoughts about this entire situation and where do you see this going forward?
All right. Undoubtedly, this is a difficult and an unprecedented situation. No doubt about it. But tougher times don't last. Tough people do, right? And I'm sure whenever there is a crisis, whenever there is a difficult time, people find some new ways, some innovative ways to survive, because at that time the survival, the existence is on stake, right? People find different ways to survive. Let us look at education institutes who have been traditionally all through these years, they were into face-to-face education. overnight they have their online departments. Overnight they have the technology in place to arrange the online classes. Similarly, there were organizations who were never in favor of working from home. They have immediately got into that. So what I'm trying to say, when there is a crisis, then people move faster. They leapfrog into the transition. So maybe this transition otherwise might have taken another 1 decade. But I think this situation, I might be sounding optimistic, but I think every crisis leads to some good opportunities also. So I think most of the organizations would leapfrog into a better opportunity now. And I think if we have to really find an opportunity, we would definitely find that. For instance, these days, any cloth manufacturer might be manufacturing a PPO kit or a mask. Any beauty cosmetic manufacturing place might start manufacturing a sanitizer. So what I'm trying to say, I think we need to quickly customize to the need of the market, the need of the industry, and then work accordingly. Not one skill will help us sail through for the whole life. We will have to evolve quickly, immediately, depending upon the need of the market. Coming back, I think, to the work from home and study from home, I think even if we come out of this pandemic, this will sustain, this will go on, this will stay with us, to my understanding. In fact, if I was reading this article today, Siemens organization has declared work for 2 to 3 days in a week, and people can work anywhere across the globe. Most of the US universities, for next 1 year, they have declared online education. So I think in a normal scenario, we might, or as a human tendency, we want to stay in that comfort zone. In a crisis situation, we stretch ourselves to an extent and we start taking measures which are very unusual. And I'm sure by the time the situation will settle down, we will get used to of this new norm, and this new norm will stay with us, and it is only for the betterment, I think. So coming back, work from home, study from home, because along with this, there is so much which we can do. We can leverage a lot of resources and opportunities. I think if we are start working from home, cost effectiveness, convenience, productivity, not undermining, of course, the face-to-face interaction, but if implemented rationally, I think this can actually be the norm for tomorrow, and it's going to stay, I think.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Shalvi. In fact, I would agree with you that, work from home, study from home is here to stay. We've all evolved into, well, we are today interacting over a webinar as well. So the consumption of education, entertainment's already gone online. Various other businesses have gone online, e-commerce, and your entire retail business is moving online. So this concept of online, working from home, working remotely, and then as well as the fact that now students are impacted by the fact that they have to now learn how to study from home. And I think that's a very important takeaway. Thank you very much, Dr. Shal. Dr. Deepak, my next question actually is for you. There is a lot of confusion about campus education versus distance and online education. And I think a lot of our participants, and I can see some questions, just before I ask you the question, Dr. Deepak, I just want to tell our participants that we will pick some out. Please keep sending in your questions. We will answer some of these questions at the end of the session for sure, right? So Dr. Deepak, coming back to you, given that there is this anxiety and a lot of confusion, difference between campus education and online and distance education, can you just give everyone a summary of the two and maybe even a little bit of pros and cons?
Okay. So I think there's definitely a lot of people are anxious to know whether they should go for online, whether I will learn in a similar way or not. Let me take you back. The education as an industry has evolved over a period of time. Going back to those days when we had a Gurukul system. And in those Gurukul system, what used to happen, only limited people were getting education. But then it was realized that education should not be meant only for some limited set of students, but should be open for everyone. And that's why the mass amount of schools and college education started. large number of students started going to the schools and colleges, but still there are many rural areas, there are, there are cities, and there are many other places where people still cannot have an access to the education. So the online education has bridged that gap today. You can reach the unreached people, and not only that, you can also reach the already accessible people. Yeah, so for example, earlier days, I remember having a very low bandwidth, and at times struggling for a computer. Going to your friend's place to make a CV was a very common thing. But today, I think we can do all these things on our mobile. I can say there was a pre-geo effect and there is a post-geo effect. So after post-geo, what has happened? The mobile technology and the technology has enabled various institutions today with the best of the opportunity to connect. What was happening, if just imagine, if there would have been no internet and there would have been no Zoom, half of the world's population would have lost their job up till now, if there would have been no online thing. And what has happened today, the technology has made, has entered into every household. So the people who were never there online, now they are, even if their kids are sitting at home and studying online. So definitely the online education is the future. And the difference when we talk about what happens in a face-to-face class, I interact with a student, I meet him face to face, I say, hey, what is your query, and I answer him. Now I can answer such queries even in this class. I can see Muskan who writes here, necessity is the mother of invention. Now I can discuss these points. It's a two-way interaction. It's not just a YouTube. I mean, online study is very different from online education. Online studies means what? For example, I want to know a topic called as BCG metrics. I read certain blogs, I go through a YouTube channel, and I understand that concept. That is a study. You go and you refer a few things and you understand the concept. But online education is a structured format of reaching to your destined goal, the goal that you have decided for yourself. The goal can be a BBA program, the goal can be a BCOM program, but you need a structure. And these structures can be provided only by a good institution of repute who has been, I mean, there are many institutes who are getting into online without having any knowledge of online. NMIMS Global Access didn't start this online because of pandemic. We were there before that as well. And the kind of quality education that is imparted at NMIMS is way different than than it is being offered by many other institutes. So I think definitely the brand and the quality of education is the future, and the continuous interaction with the student is very important in the face-to-face as well as online class.
Right. So what you're saying, and let me try and rephrase a little bit of that, Dr. Deepak, is that you're saying that today, given technology, online and on-campus or classroom programs have, from a delivery and quality of inputs perspective, become very similar. Yes, campus programs have that face-to-face interaction, which is something that is there. Whereas an online program allows you to study from anywhere. So both of them are comparable as far as quality of education goes, and it's got its sets of conveniences as well. All right. Right. So that was very interesting, Dr. Deepak. Dr. Sharni, I thought I'll also very quickly, briefly touch upon this aspect of the advantages of learning online or online education, because a lot of our students, and I can see questions pouring,
Yeah.
A fair bit, where we are seeing students asking online, distance versus offline. So I think it's important for us to point out the advantages of online education, of doing a course online. Dr. Shanit, over to you.
See, looking at this question from COVID perspective would be a very myopic viewpoint. Online education has been, I think, very actively in the last 1 decade. As I said, it might be expedited quickly now, but it has been in this space earlier. I can see some questions pouring in about the face-to-face interaction on campus. For sure, face-to-face interaction is great. But at times, you have to take your calls. Maybe you want to work along with, you want to study and you want to do many other things. I think if you want to do multiple things together, you want to leverage the time and resources in the best possible manner. You want the flexibility. Online is the way out, right? So let me now focus more on the advantages of online. Okay, so one is flexibility. If you can't attend the live sessions, of course, there are session recordings. And as Dr. Deepak has also mentioned, when we say live sessions, it is not one-sided lecture that's coming up. It is an interactive approach. So we prefer that you attend the sessions, but in case you have missed for some reasons, of course, session recordings are available. So flexibility is one major advantage. Second is, now wherever you are, whichever part of the world you are, you can have access to the world-class faculty pool that's organized by leading universities, right? So you are not restricted to a local faculty. You have an access to world-class faculty pool. That is second advantage. Third, imagine a classroom that has participants from across the country or maybe across the globe. The kind of learning that will happen with such diverse peer group is phenomenal. You can all understand that, rather than having a classroom where people are from that localized places. Fourth one, if you can study, along with that, you can do multiple things, like you can work, you can pursue your hobbies, you can do some internships, you can do some articleship, you can do 100 of things along with your studies. So, and you're not even losing on any opportunity cost. So I'm sure that is a very win-win proposition that you have in terms of online education. And that too, when you're also ready for any sort of pandemic that comes up, you don't have to take a call to switch over. You're already there. Your education is not getting compromised.
That obviously on a lighter note, but the fact remains that an online education or an online program allows you a lot of advantages. The ability to study from any time, anywhere, ability to access and interact with people, peers across different regions, etc. Um, uh, Dr. Deepak, my next question is for you actually, and this question is more directed towards again, we're going a little back into, I wouldn't call them career prospects, but a little more concerns. And I see some of those concerns from our Q&A as well. Is, you know, acceptance of online education and distance education by the industry, by the corporates. Well, I like to share my experiences, but Dr. Deepak, before that, I'd like to hand over the question to you.
Okay. Now the biggest thing is industry acceptance, because all of us sitting here would be thinking, after I take this BBA certificate to the to the campuses, will I be accepted by the industry?
To the corporate union.
Yeah, to the corporates. So the thing is, definitely, I mean, what is happening? The corporates are now encouraging employees to work from their home. They are encouraging people to study from home. In fact, they are enrolling their employees for the online programs. Just imagine if the corporate themselves believe in the online education. That is the reason why they're asking their employees to do the online courses. So acceptance is already happening. And earlier, those people, the traditional managers, were not so excited with this online education. But now they are saying that everything is happening online, because now they are sitting at home and they themselves are doing things online. So that belief will be more concrete after this pandemic. And definitely, this is one of the reasons why the acceptance would happen. Secondly, most of the people would say, where are you coming from? What kind of repute that your institute has. Our student in the past, I'll tell you, I've been into online teaching from last almost 9.5 years now. I will complete a decade in online education. Now, when I'm talking about it, I have seen many of my students whose certificate, when they went to when they completed a program and went for the interview, the people can see the difference in the quality. It's not a barter exchange of certificate with the fee. If you don't study properly, you are not going to pass the exam. That's the quality that NMIMS focuses on. There's a rigor for quality. Every single topic, I mean, who teaches you every single topic in the class? So the industry is going to see, where are you coming from? And NMIMS Global Access has a name and it's known for its quality education. Apart from this, if you ask me the third pointer about the acceptance, what brings the acceptance in the society? The regulators. Whether the regulators are going to allow this to be considered to be as a valid program. Regulators every new day are coming up with a new policy which is encouraging people to do online programs. And if they are going to approve this, then the industry cannot say no.
Oh, yes.
It's overall, if you see, all these three things are the important factors why the student would be going for online and why industry would accept them.
Correct, correct. In fact, I'd like to point out to our viewers that, as far as NMIMS Global Access goes, we've got about 9,500 alumni who graduated from, or who completed the program with us over the past 7 years. Now, most of them, I wouldn't say all of them, but most of them work in the corporate world. So to my mind, corporate acceptance is a given. In fact, the acceptance has gotten better over the past 5-7 years. And especially because of the current situation, the acceptance has gone up further. What I would also like to point out to everyone is two things. One is that UGC mandates that a distance and or online program is recognized as equivalent to a regular on-campus program. That's point number one. Point number two, we have to see complete details, but as far as the new education policy goes, the government has acknowledged the role of distance and online learning as one of the key factors to increase higher education literacy in the country today, right? So the government in its policy also takes note of how important online education is, right? So, all right. So let me get into a little more specifics. And Dr. Shalini, I would like to point this to you. NMIMS Global Access has recently launched BCOM and BBA, and NMIMS as a university is ranked amongst the best universities in the country for even BCOM as well as BBA. In fact, they rank in the top 5 across multiple surveys and multiple surveys that are conducted, etc. So, Dr. Shalini, if you could throw light on the programs that we have launched, the BCOM and the BBA programs, and take us through a little bit of that, please.
All right. I think Amit has already mentioned about the credibility of the university. He has talked about NMIMS recognitions. He has already talked about NMIMS Global Access School, the kind of student database that we have and the credibility that we have. I think with this sort of, legacy that NMIMS Global Access School, legacy that we have in online education, and we have been offering several postgraduate and MBA programs in online space, and very effectively we have been doing this. So I think it is very easy for us to now extend that to undergraduate space. While we are entering into an undergraduate space, we want to add some more things which are very unique for them. I'm going to talk about that. Of course, first I will talk about the basic things that we already were doing for other programs and that are being extended to undergraduate students as well. And then I will also talk about what additionally their program is being customized for undergraduate students. All right, so 4 common things which of course we are extending further to UG as well. 1, our curriculum is designed by experts from academia and industry. And these academicians, when I say, or industry experts, when I say, they are majorly alumni from IITs, IIMs, or leading business schools. So very updated curriculum. That is one thing. Coming to the second thing, Dr. Deepak also talked about engaging study material and the pedagogy. So online education is not about just one-sided discussion or the lecture that's going on. It is about almost like virtually bringing the real-time classroom into an online space. So where we have through chat messages, post your query, while we give audio rights, the students can speak. So it becomes almost like a real-time classroom. So all those engaging pedagogy is the second thing that I want to talk about. Third is the state of the art technology. Of course, the still updated, technology, learning softwares, the management portals, and library resources, all of that, of course, state of the art computer lab is available. These are the things which we already have. We have excelled that while we have been offering these programs for more than a decade to PGDM and MBA programs. Now let me focus what special we are or how customization is being done for undergraduate programs. So two special features that are very, very unique for undergraduate students is, one is employability skills. We want to prepare the leaders for tomorrow who are ready to adapt to any challenges that come up. As I mentioned earlier also, the skills that were relevant earlier may not be relevant tomorrow, right? So we want to make our students the leaders who can think, adapt, and change as per the requirement. So those employability skills will be there throughout your journey. While you are studying your course content and curriculum, you will also be going through that employability skills. And when I say employability skills, they would be varied depending upon, and that would keep changing whenever there is a need. Of course, soft skills is the most important one that we would do. Design thinking is another one. For budding entrepreneurs, start your startup is another one. For students who are into BCOM, we would have a course on Tally. So of course, these employability skills, as per the need, requirement, we will keep introducing new employability skills. So this is one unique feature that we are introducing in UG programs. Let me talk about the second unique feature, which I think is a big differentiating factor. Second is a placement assistance. So of course, we are preparing you for tomorrow, but for the jobs, but we are also helping you and giving you assistance in the career, in the placements, right? But mind you here, of course, you have to work along with us. While we are providing you assistance, you have to work with us to reach to that goal. So if you want to get into the entrepreneur journey, of course, you have those skills through design thinking and startup modules. While you want to get into a corporate job, our team will assist you in getting the right opportunities. But it has to be two-way. We will seek your active cooperation in getting that done. So Amit, just summing up, two unique features for undergraduate. One is employability skills and placement assistance, along with, of course, other skills or features that we have been offering.
Sure. Right. Thank you, Dr. Shalini. This gives us insight into how the program has been designed. The entire program design is relevant and is built for today and the future, right? And we keep upgrading our curriculum on a regular basis to ensure that the programs are in line or in tune with the requirements of the corporate world. Dr. Deepak, very interestingly, and I thought we should talk to you about how does a student actually learn with us, and I think that's something most of our students, participants here would be much younger, and they'll be fairly curious about the entire learning experience. Really, if you could share a little light on that, would be nice.
The success of any program depends upon how it is being delivered. Now, if we talk about learning experience, firstly, will I be engaged on continuous basis? That's one of my biggest question. Okay, or will it be like only after 6 months I open the book and I give the exam? That does not happen. We have the regular sessions from Monday to Saturday. So students will be attending lectures regularly. What if I don't attend the lecture? If I am working that time, if I have a shift time, that time, how will I attend those lectures? The best thing about the online classes, you still have the access to the recordings.
Right.
And our investment in infrastructure has been really good in terms of the user experience. When it comes to the app, when it comes to the using the web services, the best of the student zone portal, the student portal that we have, gives a real-time information to the student that what are the lectures that has happened, how many lectures he has not attended. He can go back and he can definitely attend those sessions. The recordings are available for him. He knows what he has missed, and accordingly he can cover up. For example, I have a lot of time on weekends, so I can sit and attend those lectures. So I don't miss out on the real learning. The biggest problem at times that BCom or BBA graduates have, what if I don't attend my lectures? Yeah. So in a face-to-face class, this is the biggest disadvantage. If you miss the class, you have missed it permanently.
Right.
But with online class, you still have an access to it. Why do you want to miss? You enrolled for a program. Why you don't want to attend a class? Now, because earlier time you had an issue, your boss called you and you have to report to the work. That was a problem those days. But now we are fixing up that problem by giving you the recordings available within a short span of time, which is a very big advantage about the online program. And also, for example, if a topic is difficult, Amit, then what happens? I can go back and I can see the recordings again. I can see it multiple times. The teacher, you don't have to intervene and tell the teacher, please explain again, please explain again. That can happen in the live class. And the live interaction will answer most of your queries, but you still have a query, you can still write back through post your query after the lecture. For example, okay, sir, I attended your recordings, but I didn't understand this concept about 4 P's of marketing. You can write to the professor directly here. See, it's not about just education these days. It's about after the class, how can I approach my university? Do I have an access to them? So we have a very beautiful feature called as post your query. If you have a lecture, for example, lecture 1 happened, you didn't understand the concept from that lecture 1, you can post a query in that lecture itself.
Right.
And after the class has got over, after the recordings you have seen, there is something that is missing, then you can even engage through discussion forums. In discussion forum, a teacher initiates a discussion. Tell me what strategies a business should use during COVID times. So these discussions, they make your thinking, your creative side about your business is really strong. Your business acumen increases and improvises. And these are, some of the great features of online.
I must just say this with a bit of humor is that we don't encourage bunking, but yeah, in case you have to miss a session, then there are recordings available. And like Dr. Gupta very aptly pointed out, in a classroom, interaction is the key. What NMIMS Global Access is able to facilitate is being able to interact with your faculty when you are being taught live, and in case you have questions, queries after the lecture, like we would on a campus run after a faculty and ask questions, you could post a question to us, and that question will get answered, and that you can do that at 2 o'clock in the night if you think, oh my God, I have a question in my mind, right? So those are things that you could definitely do with us. The other thing, Dr. Deepak, I wanted to check was the study material, and how does that look? Really?
Okay, when I see my students, when I was doing my BMS, Amit, that time the thing was there were no publisher in the market. There were only you will see Pearson there, you will see. So we had no textbooks.
Right.
We have to study directly from Philip Kotler, because I was the third batch that university started during those days about the BMS, or you call them as BBA. But then that time the situation was very different. Now you have large number of publishers, but a good quality content is not available. Content is available. Today, what is the problem with getting information? There is too much of information. Finding out, taking time, which is right and which is wrong, takes a more time than getting the information. During our time, getting information was a challenge. Right. But today what has happened, because now how should we give the best content to the student? The student gets the best content if you have the best publisher. So our books are coming from the best of the publishers like Wiley. Then you have Pearson. So these are like, the world class publisher. Their books are not read only in India, but across the world. Right. So if the content, if my base from where I'm going to learn, if that is strong, then I need not worry about the curriculum. I need not worry about most of the things, because I know what I will get is a quality education.
Right. So what you're saying is At one side, you have faculty which are the NMIMS faculty, and NMIMS stands for quality. On the other side, we use publishers and develop books with them which are relevant, which are best in class. Uh, and I just wanted to point out to the audience that the books would be sent to you physically, and you will also be able to access the books on a mobile device through a mobile app, or through a desktop app, or through a laptop. So when you look at what facilities we give, you can literally, you're carrying your campus in your pocket
Absolutely.
in some
I
sense.
mean, the thing is, because many of our students would be working, so they can't carry their physical books. So physical book is there. They can keep it at home and they can read. They can do the marking like a traditional format. And during the daytime, they can use it through their mobile app.
Okay, all right. Very interesting, very interesting. Dr. Deepak, I also wanted to, if you could, what I've been given to understand is in the program, Dr. Shani did mention, the entire piece of, uh, you know, uh, the employability skills and career services. If you could shed light on how do we prepare students for the corporate world, really, and I think that's another key factor of what we've done today. So if you could do that, if you could just shed some more light into that, would be nice.
Okay, I mean, this definitely is the most important question, how do we develop skills? I mean, the employability skills is the most important thing. When the student goes to to the corporates for the interview, first thing is whether you have enough soft skills. So when we are covering this employability skills, we are going to teach you the soft skills, how to prepare for an interview, how to give a effective group discussion, how to prepare your professional CV. Apart from this, I mean, in the first semester itself, student will have the skill of Excel. I mean, most of our work today is happening on Excel. We take out so many reports, but most of the time students have no idea about MS Excel. They get scared of MS Excel. But we are teaching you all the functions of Excel in semester one in one of our courses. And the courses have been designed in such a way that it directly adds to the skill, because Deepak Gupta does not get a job. The skills get the job. No person has got the job using its name. Yeah, you have to have the skills. And that is the reason when we talk about development of our curriculum or development of any of our program, the three pillars it rests on: knowledge, skills, and attitude. And definitely we work on these aspects in these areas, which makes them industry ready.
Right, right. Okay. We have a bunch of interesting questions, and I thought, while I think more or less we've covered a lot of aspects, and we've got, it's almost 4:55, 3:55, and we don't have too much time. If we could take a few questions, if you don't mind. Some of the questions have been answered through the session. Um, I just thought I'll speak to you about eligibility, for of the program. If you could shed light on the eligibility, Dr. Deepak.
Yeah, after we have got the result, the first thing that is there, whether I am eligible for the courses or not. I mean, that's the first thing that we have in our mind. So for BBA and BCOM program, HSC, which is your 10 plus 2 with minimum 50%. So if you've got 50% in your 12th exam, then you are eligible for this course. What happens with many students, they've completed their 12th long back, and but they have not got enough percentage. They got 45%. But if you have completed 12th with 2 years of experience, then you are eligible for BBA as well as BCom. At times what happens, some students, they go for, after 10th itself, they go for diploma. So there are some diploma which is approved by AICT. So if they have completed 10th plus AICT 3 years of diploma, then they are eligible for this BBA and BCom, both the programs.
Right, right. All right, great. Thank you, Dr. Deepak. My second question would be, it's something that I will take it up myself. So a lot of people are asking questions about recognition of the program. So So as a category one university, these programs are recognized. All our programs are recognized by various regulators depending on where they lie. So that is not something that any one of you will have to worry about, right? Um, so yeah, that's something I thought I will take it up myself. Would Dr. Deepak or Dr. Shalini be able to shed light on the number of credits that the program has? If you could just shed light in terms of structure, how many year program, and a little bit of that would be interesting.
So, every program, if you see, gets a credit for the number of courses that they have. So each of the course in each semester will give you 4 credits. So overall credit will come down to more than 130 plus credits. So
Okay.
it's a, because they would be completing some 36 courses in 3 years time, multiply by 4, you can do, and it will give you some number around it. So 4 credits for each of the courses. And then these credits are very important because the 4 credits which is involves a lot of learning for the student.
Right. I have a very interesting question that, how do we do testing? So, how were the exams conducted? So, well, before COVID, our exams were conducted in proctored environments. What I mean by proctored environments is someone who will proctor you within a computer lab across the country, across 30, 35 cities across the country. So that's something that we would do. And, right now, as we speak, we are conducting over 150,000 uh, online proctored exams. And these online proctored exams are managed by about 500 proctors online using artificial intelligence and a variety of other technologies that we would that we've built in house. So our exams and our ability to conduct exams is very uh, strong. One question, Dr. Shalini, I thought I should ask you is in terms of the faculty, what kind of faculty typically would be taking these sessions, ma'am? That's one of the questions that I'm seeing here.
Yes. So I think that's a very important question, and I always feel faculty is the pillar of an education institute, and we are very selective when it comes to faculty recruitment. Of course, their background, when I say, of course, whether it is their education background, the places that they have worked with, or if they are from industry, the organization where they are, their current affiliations, all of this are thoroughly looked into when we are recruiting them. Because what we want the faculty to take to the class is not just the core concepts. We want somebody who is well equipped with the conceptual part of it along with the applications. So either most of our faculty are from leading business schools, IIMs, IITs, or leading private business schools, or if they are from industry, they are from leading organizations, companies at a senior position. Because I think that brings a wonderful blend when they know the concept they have studied, and now they also know the application part of it. So this is something we really focus on when we are identifying the faculty for our programs, all our programs.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Shalini. I just think we are almost at the end of our time, but what I'd like to point out to our participants is that if you have questions, queries about program structures, etc., our website is distance.nmims.edu, where you can go into the program section and the bachelor's program section and look through the program and the curriculum. In case you need more help and you have more queries, you have two options. Either email us at NGASCE, that's NGA, that's NMIMS Global Access, NGASCE, School for Continuing Education, at nmims.edu. Or what you could do is, visit our website. There is an inquiry section there. Drop us your name and phone number, and someone from our system will come back to you very, very quickly, right? So yeah, NGASCE. Thank you, Dr. Deepak, for that. NGASCE at nmims.edu. And, let me just paste that for you as well. Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of this session. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
ma'am.
And all the very best to all our participants. Thank you.
All the best and select your career wisely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.